during the opening, Sheahnee akan talk about sikit pasal chat salam, and then she will introduce all the 5 panelists. Okay, ada 5 orang.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the launch of Salam Web.
Show is basically an introduction for Salam Web, more on the marketing director speech, more on the videos to explain what Salam Web is all about. So try to make it as exciting as possible, but at the same time informative.
If you have an opinion on that, please butt in. That's what this is all about. We want to keep it, a nice flow moving there. It's to kind of understand the young digital generation. Alright, and I think you would probably know best. Although please, I'm sure you have
Very young too?
about it as well.
I'm young.
I'm not Gen Ed.
So let's have fun. And if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to just, give me your input or whisper to me or pass a message along, and I'll try to address that.
Are you ready?
Ready as I'll always go. We've got 3 iPad Pros to give out this morning. It's super easy. Never before has there been such an easy way to win an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil. And all you have to do is just take part in our caption call-out contest that is going to take place anytime between now and the end of our Chat Salam pilot discussion in a short while. All you need to do, take a photo of yourself at this event and hashtag us at Salam Caption or hashtag Team Salam. You will see slides up on the screens every now and then to show you the hashtags. It would be hashtag Salam Caption and hashtag Team Salam. Post it to your social media and we'll pick the most creative captions, 3 winners, and an iPad Pro is yours. Easy enough? Yes? Alright, so give it a go. Let's see what's the most creative caption that you can come up with. And by the end of this morning's event, we'll see who walks away with an iPad Pro. Alright, we'll be starting in a short while. So ladies and gentlemen, please make yourself comfortable. If you haven't had any refreshments, please help yourself to some refreshments. We will be starting in about 15 minutes. Good morning to you, our respected guests. How are you this morning? Good? Great? Alhamdulillah. We are very honored to have with us here today, all the way from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, esteemed scholar, Associate Professor of Shariah-compliant Economics, and former Director of the Center for Research in Islamic Economics at King Abdul University, Sheikh Dr. Muhammad Ali Al-Ghari. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a warm welcome. I'm Iman, and on behalf of Salam Web, I'm proud to welcome all of you to the launch of the world's first Sharia-compliant internet ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, in an age where the internet dominates our lives, finally we have a tool that empowers the global Muslim community to focus on what matters most. As both a Muslim and a parent, I've always longed for a safer, private, and ethically sensitive internet browsing experience for not just myself, but also for my family. Salam Web, leading the way with Salam Browser comprising Salam Chat, Salam Protect, Salam News, Salam Compass, and Salam Sadaqah, an ecosystem that bridges the best of international technology and online protection with the needs of today's digitally savvy Muslim. Speaking of the digitally savvy Muslim, anyone with an internet connection would no doubt be familiar with the multifaceted and often treacherous landscape that is the World Wide Web. Along with that come the myriad issues that so many of us have found ourselves pondering as we navigate this complicated universe, while at the same time trying not to stray off course. It's with this reality in mind that the team at Salam Web conceived of this morning's Chat Salam, not to be confused with the Salam Web feature Salam Chat. From our all-time favorite cat videos to modest fashion to Generation M, we're going to get to the heart of these issues, starting with our esteemed panelists. First on our panel this morning is Norhizam Abdul, Vice President of Growth Ecosystem Development at MDEC. Apart from nurturing conducive digital environments businesses at MDEC, Norhizam also brings to the table over 15 years of experience in the IT and energy industries across Asia Pacific, from corporate marketing to sales and business development, among others. Norhizam's career in Gilby, the Intel Group, Ballard and Microsoft has primed him well for the challenges of the digital economy. Ladies and gentlemen, Norhizam Abdul Kadir. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, no stranger to a little healthy controversy. Our next panelist, Aris Ramli, or more popularly known as Caprice, is a champion for a number of social and political issues in Malaysia, believing that fame can be a platform for good. He is leveraging his popularity to help youth, among them an anti-bullying campaign based on his song What Lit, What Peace and Classroom, an online platform aimed at providing affordable education to students across Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, Caprice. Woo! Now, jumping on the panel, we have a growing powerhouse in fashion, the founder of Mimpikita, Nurul Zulkifli. From a humble online blog shop that came to life during the 2008 recession, Nurul Zulkifli went from selling clothing and home decor items to building a global fashion player with her sisters. No longer a stranger in the industry, Mimpikita's trademark, modest fashion, has since been showcased at London Fashion Week and countless other global shows, including most recent for the Islamic Fashion and Design Council in Dubai. Ladies and gentlemen, Nurul Zulkifli. Woo! And last on our panel, but most certainly not the least, we have Hajjah Hasni Zarina, Managing Director of Salam Web Technologies. Not only does Hasni lead the team behind Salam Web, she brings with her 26 years of experience in roles as diverse as Deputy CEO at the Halal Industry Development Corporation, to CEO and Executive Director for Malaysia's leading electronic payment provider, Touch 'n Go. Hasni was notably also among the first 25 women certified by the NAM Institute for the Empowerment of Women, Malaysia, under the 30% Women Directors Agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, for Hasni Zarina. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have one more panelist who will be joining us in a short while, but for now, I'd like to invite my esteemed panelists to have a seat. How are you this morning? Alhamdulillah. Okay, and how about you, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we have a fun and interactive session this morning?
Yeah.
Alright, we will also be utilizing our Salam chat function, so you can send us live questions if you have a burning question that you need to ask any one of our panelists here this morning. So let's keep it interactive, okay? Alright? Okay, alright. Now, my first topic actually is about my favorite topic, really, cats. No, not really. Not really, okay? Now, sometimes, yes, we really do just want to watch cat videos, correct? Then I can spend a whole day just scrolling for funny cat videos. Yes or not?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But as a parent, I can attest that most of the time we are doing these mundane things because we're actually looking for a safe and harmless, stress-free environment that can be enjoyed not just by us, but also by our family. So apart from cat videos, we know that the internet has so much more to offer. But how do we sift through what fits best with our values and what doesn't, especially when it's not a cat video? So to Norhizam from MDEC, what do people mostly use the internet for these days, and how has it shaped society?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
My name is Kadir and I represent Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation. Great question, whether it's cat or any other information. We are currently living in a digital age where mobile devices are becoming very pervasive. As of now, I can see a lot of you carrying up your mobile phones, taking photos, and by the way, you're going to hashtag me on Instagram on Hizam Kadir.
Must have the fun.
All right. The questions is, I think we would require maybe a sociologist to be answering that. Whether it's cats or any information, the internet is a platform. It is a source of information. I'm not as young as Caprice and Nurul, although I'm young at heart.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters, right? Like when I was in the university, there was already internet, but it wasn't as pervasive as yet. I went to the library to get information in completing my thesis. And I was looking at today's kids actually, and there could be a danger to it of plagiarism. Internet has provided such a wealth of information, and that's essentially what it's all about. And when consumers like us have easy access to information, like any other things, that's why Islam is asking us to be moderate. It may open to abuses. My answer to your questions, whether it's cat or any other information, I don't have cats, but I love watching cats videos as well. They are very adorable makhluk Tuhan. Yeah. It all goes back to your nawaitu. Whether you would really want to watch cats video or whether you would really want to watch anything else, or seeking information that may not be relevant to your niyat. That's one. But of course, from a technology standpoint, there are many ways on how that can be filtered, and I'm really glad, excited actually, to see Salam Web taking the leadership in pushing the agenda and making web browsing to be Shariah-compliant. It's a great step on how we as Muslims, not to control, but to help to monitor ourselves, right? To be more conscious in the choice of information that we want to access. The other thing that I want to touch on, whether it's cats or other information, would be on the content that we access. In Malaysia, if we were to look at the amount of content that we consume, if you look at internet traffic in Malaysia, 80% of content that is in Malaysia are actually from outside. Right? We are more of a content consumer. I love watching Instagram videos, by the way, and Insta stories, right? It's very addictive. Then creating content. One way that could help us in consuming the right cat content or Sharia compliance content for that matter is for us to create our own content.
Make sure the cat wear a hijab. So it's Sharia compliant.
It could be that as well, right? Again, it's really about your nawaitu. It is slowly changing actually. We do hope that the change, rather than gradually to move drastically. We've started seeing a lot of content, especially for families. Animation plays a real great role. The likes of Upin and Nipin, right? Didi and Friends. All these are content that are developed that have family values and moral values actually, and we would love to see more of that content to be disseminated to Malaysian communities. If I can give you an example, maybe perhaps to liven up the hall, I'm sure that you guys know what BTS is. Siapa yang suka K-pop should know, right? I honestly did not know what BTS was. I really thought BTS was a train system in Thailand. Really, until I was on the plane, I was reading Time magazine. They are a real great influencer. But the point is how Korea has shifted the whole community from content consuming to content creation, to an extent where they would be able to export and it becomes an economy, right? Maybe perhaps Salam Web, great platform for next phase, and more than happy to work with you to be looking in how the content creations can be also enabled. People like Caprice and Nurul would play a role because most of the people who consume content are young people like that. I don't have the time to be watching cat content as much as well. So that's pretty much a bit on a nutshell of my views of cats versus other information.
Just a little bit of a fun fact that I want to throw in there since we're talking cats. CNN estimated 4 years ago that there were at least 6.5 billion pictures and videos of cats on the World Wide Web. So definitely we can produce a lot more content that is non-cat related, okay? Now, speaking of cats and memes aside, the reality when it comes to content is that keywords of questionable content actually also currently tops the list on regular search browsers. So it's not just funny cat videos, it's also a lot of other questionable content people are searching for. So as a result, the internet can now also be a cesspool if not managed carefully. So when did this trend start happening really and why? Maybe from your observations as well, Caprice.
We, like for Salam and Mohd and Caprice from Fashion.com, Nice.com, and Ummah. The reason why I started venturing into IT and the Islamic context because at the end of the day, Islam is the way of life. That we can't run away from. That is the foundation, and that is the way of life. Islam is the way of life. And if you look at the evolution of communication, 10 years ago when I was living in Jordan, my dad's a diplomat, so I was living in Jordan, we would sit around the TV to consume content, right?
Yeah.
I'd be around my dad at 9 p.m., my dad and my mom would say, hey, let's go watch TV. We're in front of the TV. 10 years later, here I am, and we're just one click, and we're watching YouTube, we're consuming so much content.
And anything you want.
On demand,
Yeah.
right? So the way of life is right, the youth is leading the pack. If we don't create an ecosystem that caters to a way of life for Muslims in the current context, we're gonna fall behind. That's the reason why I entered this market, because I know that the wave is changing, and if you look at the global trend, there's no Islamic ecosystem. And so when I heard about Salam Web, and my chairman told me that he's involved with Salam Web, Daud, and it got me excited. I realized like they see that wave, and if we don't enter that wave, Muslims will fall behind. And Muslims are consuming what is Netflix, YouTube, Google, they're on these platforms, but they're not built for Muslims. They're built for the world. And if Islam is a way of life, and this is becoming the current way of life, we have to enter this market now with a bang and really make it Sharia-compliant to cater to the values of Muslims. So in that respect, yeah.
I agree. It's
Yeah.
one thing to actually cater to the supply. So
Yeah.
we basically flood the internet with lots more positive content. But at the end of the day, you come back down to demand.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the demand for questionable content is still high. And as long as that demand is high, the supply is always going to be there. I'll give you an example as a parent. Even sometimes a harmless search for keywords that have absolutely nothing to do with questionable content. Say you key in Mickey Mouse, okay? And you pop up seemingly innocent websites, and often something other than Mickey Mouse appears in the feed. So what are your thoughts on the views that some parents feel that, the internet and the World Wide Web is just generally an unsafe place that cannot be controlled, like Cowboy Town, Wild Wild West?
You can't control the web.
Yeah.
You can never control the web, but you can control your children.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's the culture that we influence the kids. The kids are going to go on Google, YouTube, Netflix, Instagram, and search whatever they want. Or Salam Web and search whatever they want. You can't control the internet, but you can definitely control your children if you raise your children right. And when the world is evolving so quickly, it's not just about technology, it's also bringing in a new culture for Muslims. That makes Islam relevant in the social world, social media, and the internet.
Wonderful, and I'm happy to announce that one of our panelists has just joined us. I'd like to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, our panelist, Datuk Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar, whom Caprice mentioned just now. He is the founder and executive chairman of the Amanie Group. Besides this distinction, he is also currently the chairman of the Sharia Advisory Council of the Central Bank of Malaysia, as well as the Securities Commission of Malaysia, and the Labuan Financial Services Authority. Bloomberg ranks him as the world's top Sharia scholar based on the sheer number of super endorsements, while Islamica 500 puts him as one of the world's top 50 global leaders in the Islamic economy. It's an honor to have you with us, ladies and gentlemen, Datuk Dr. Daud Bakar. Just to bring you up to speed, Datuk, we are currently discussing content on the World Wide Web. Caprice has just argued that you cannot control what is out there on the internet, but you can most certainly control how you consume it. So that brings me to my next question for Puan Hasni. All right. Now, I understand that Salam Web is working on creating tools that can help parents with this dilemma. You can't control the supply of information, but you can control how it's consumed. What can Salam Web do to help users identify valuable content?
Okay, thank you, Sheahnee. I just want to take a step back. Yes, I was born in the time when internet wasn't around. So how we learn is by observing things around us, learn from our surroundings. We learn from our parents, our grandparents. Take for example, just to do simple things like to cook rice. We didn't learn that at school, right? We learned that from parents, from grandparents, and we believe that because that's how we were taught to like measure that the water, using your index finger and everything. So, I mean, this whole family, this community surrounding us, they were the support system, if you like. Yep, in the physical world, we have the support system. But nowadays, we are looking at, like mentioned by Norhizam, a lot of information on the internet, and so what kind of support system that we are looking at? Yeah,
How to cook rice?
yes. How do we know? So I mean, it's like whether is this the right information or is that not the right information? So it's very important for us to have this tool or mechanism for us to be able to do like some form of reference, and with the help of community that should help to balance out, like, okay, giving you indication that yes, this is the right track, rather than you going out there, not knowing what to source for. Aspects.
Now, I understand Salam Web is actually engaging the community to help create a safer landscape for the users. How exactly can the community work together to build that safe digital future?
Yes, of course, I can't say more about community because it's so important to have this community to help us. I just want to share an example. If, say now, you want to go to find a hotel, you would probably Google and find it, and you say, okay, let's read the review. And these reviews are done or contributed by community, isn't it? We look at that as our feedback. So same as in Salam, how we see it is that Salam is a platform and it's a tool. It is developed based on these Sharia parameters, to make sure that alignment is there. But because internet goes on very fast, today you have something, tomorrow you have something else, and even as we speak, there'll be more things on top. So what we have is that contribution from the community by the actions of them tagging what is appropriate or what's not appropriate that is to be shared with the users. So that is where we are coming from in terms of helping community and providing them with this tool.
So basically, your community is serving as a village. It takes a village to raise a child, right? So we're helping other parents by tagging questionable content, yes? Okay. Now let's talk about the consumers of this content. The majority of the consumers of today come from a generation that many of us don't understand or are trying desperately to understand. Maybe Nurul and Caprice will know them better than maybe we do. Okay? So Nurul, please feel free to add on if you have some thoughts about this. But just to bring you to speed, with this new generation, you have all of these letters, Z, Y, millennials, blah, blah, okay? But there is another community that we are trying to address here, and that is Generation M. What is Generation M? Now, of the world's 1.8 billion Muslims, this segment is more influential than any other, and they will shape the next future generation of Muslims, whether we like it or not. Okay? Now, what are they? They are young, tech-savvy, self-empowered Muslims. They feel like they can do anything. Okay? They believe that their identity encompasses both faith and modernity. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to balance it. Okay? So I think I'm going to just aim this question at Caprice first, because you've managed in the course of your online videos to learn what makes them tick. So who are Gen M really, and what are they all about?
What makes them tick?
Yeah.
In Malaysia, if it's controversial, sad, or funny, they'll get views.
Yeah.
Controversial, sad, funny. Three things work.
Yeah.
And it's all non-Shariah-compliant videos. you YouTube Hajjah, highest views.
Yeah.
Haram, haram, haram. Right? And you Google what else? These are all your big hits. Unfortunately, this is the current trend in Malaysia. The videos that get the most hits besides cats has to be funny, has to be controversial, or has to be something really, really sad. That would get you the most clicks.
Yeah, and this is unfortunately the world in which our Gen M is navigating through.
Correct.
So, can you share your personal experiences in reaching out to this generation where only these three things are the things that make them tick?
It is really unfortunate that those are the three things that makes people click or search for. That's why in everything that I propose that we do is we don't just invest in technology. We can spend 1 billion in technology, but if we don't spend 1 billion in getting into the minds of the children, we're still gonna fail. We can spend 3 billion in technology, infrastructure, websites, systems, but if you don't spend 3 billion for the children, you will still find a Tumblr when you're searching something else. Salam Web is right here on my phone. If the kid is like, man, I want to watch some pornography, he or she will find a way to watch pornography. It is unfortunate. The only way we can have a paradigm shift in what makes them click is by investing in communities and cultures at the same time as technology. Let me give you a perfect example how technology changed mindset. Grab. You guys know Grab, right? Taxi. 10 years ago in Malaysia, taxi competition memang teruk. It smells bad, they're rude, they don't care about you, they might send you, they might not send you. Taxi drivers 10 years ago. Because of Grab, it forces them to make sure when you enter Grab taxi, there's a water bottle in the back. Because they want a 5-star. That's when technology influences culture. So that's what I'm saying, we have to, as Muslims, we have to find a way to build an ecosystem that has an equal impact in their mindset. And only then will you see a paradigm shift among the kids. If you don't do that, drama, sadness, controversy will never change. Will never change.
And Dr. Daud, I'll come back to you in a short while on that because I have a very pertinent question about that to ask you. But very quickly, I would like to ask Nurul, because Nurul, you know, you create fashion for this generation. Please tell me there is something other than controversy and sadness and all of this that, you know, makes them tick. Please tell me something positive here.
Of course, sadly, it is true. I mean, I am 36 years old, and I've been like trying, like how do I get these people to like my photos? You know, I've been struggling with that, and sometimes I went into this depression mode when nobody likes my photos because it's not controversial, or maybe I'm not like pretty enough. I think like I am not pretty enough, or it doesn't take them that, you know, I am, you know, how my caption was like you know, like saying something positive or negative. So I'm like myself struggling with that too. So me doing this business, of course, social media has been a good platform for me. So not just to sell my things, but also to engage with these Gen M, like what do they like, what colors do they prefer to wear, what kind of tudung they like to, you know, style, how they want to style their baju's. So I'm like, it's still we still like progressively like learn how to, you know, like
Even
engage.
after 10 years, right?
Yeah,
Still
after
a
that, it's
question
still
mark.
a question. I mean, like I'm still like struggling, like how do I, you know, engage with these people? people, sometimes it's hard. When I post that, oh, they love my kids, they love my twins.
Yeah.
I think they
Fun,
love
some
because,
happy stuff.
yeah, because these kids, they are pure, you know, they don't have any tension. Like for me, if I post something, of course I'm like selling my baju, you know, so they don't really like that sometimes, but I think they love perfection. If you sell baju, you have to look kurus, and then if Malaysians, they love fair skin, you know, if you sell beauty product, they want your face to be like fairer than other people.
Certain stereotype. Yeah?
Yes. So I'm like still learning.
So speaking of social media, it's interesting that you brought that up. It has this remarkable reputation of turning everyday people into internet celebrities overnight, but it can also turn them into trolls as well. Now in school, I'll give you my daughter as an example. You ask her, what do you want to be when you grow up? YouTuber! Okay? I don't know whether to be worried or not, okay? But we know social media can make you famous, okay? It can create millions of dollars for you, but it can also conversely destroy lives in less than a minute. So Caprice, not only have you experienced fame online, you've also seen the ugly side of it plenty of times over. What was it like, and what do you wish you could change about that?
Once again, you can't change it. The solution when you get bullied online is very simple. It's called right-click block. The moment you right-click block, the noise is no longer there. So you just keep doing that for the rest of your life, and then over time, all that negative noise disappears, and you just get love. That's how you deal with it. You can never control the internet.
Filter, huh?
Yeah, you just right-click block, swoops, halas.
Yeah.
Done.
So you basically, you are creating the environment in which you are comfortable
Correct.
being in.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we need to teach our kids. If I'm not comfortable about this, I need to create the environment in which I feel safe.
Sure.
Is that right? Izam, if at any point you feel like jumping in with some statistics or some information, do jump in at any point, yeah? Now, another thing that I'd like to point out about social media is this is a very dangerous trend that we've seen, okay? That is, the kids will do anything now for likes and followers, okay? Even some adults, okay? To the point where they will do dangerous, negative, and sometimes even fatal things just to get a hit on the internet. So how can we, as you said, you can't control it, so how can we help the youth who are producing this content, who are desperate for some sort of positive attention? How can we get them to be unique and yet true to themselves in their digital future? Anyone? Open field.
To relate to your earlier questions with regards to being YouTubers, many people would relate YouTubers or the social media influencers as to get attention. I think attention, there is nothing wrong with it, especially if you were to be running a company like Caprice and Nurul. They need to get attention in order for them to sell their products. This whole concept of using social media is something that we can't run away, because this is the disruptive era where people will then be able to not only access information, being able to use the platform to deliver information as well. I still go back to what I said earlier on the intentions of this Generation N, on why we want to get attention to begin with. I remember, I'm not Generation N, so I already know there was a challenge with a song, wasn't it? And then they were, what was it about, Caprice? There was a challenge where people run and dance next to a cup.
Kiki challenge.
Kiki challenge, okay?
Please don't search for it.
we should make it a Subo challenge. We have a Subo phase.
Exactly. I mean, my view is, it is really about your niyat of getting the attention. If the attention is right, by all means, please be a YouTubers. If we were to be creating another platform for YouTubers, it's going to be hard. One, I always talk to tech startups actually on whether you want to create something new or you want to duplicate on what have been developed by developed markets. for us to be creating another form of YouTube just for a Muslim market, that is going to be hard for you to do it because you don't have the means, nor that you have the capital to be promoting and to be marketing your products worldwide. And I like the approach of Salam Web because we are leveraging on an existing search engine, but be able to use crowdsourcing platform so that the community plays a role. Again, it's the niat and awaitu of the community to help and shape better Shariah-compliant and better Islamic community. So all of us as Muslims, we need to play that role as well. Because if we really look into how we would have a better community, a better future for our ummah, then each and every one of us would have to play a role. It's not about banning YouTube. It's not about banning, right? It's not about banning all these internet tools or vehicles to access information. It will still remain there. Our kids will still be able to access Tumblr for unnecessary information. It's really about, I really love what Caprice said, for such a young guy to be having a great mature mindset.
I don't know what's Tumblr. What is Tumblr? I don't know what it is. I just thought about it.
I should know it. I'm in the industry, right? It is really about changing that mindset. And that changing mindset is not just a government's role. It's also a role of each and every one of us. And if you were to be in a crowdsourcing platform, get to Salam Web and start tagging and ensuring that you and I play a role in shaping the ummah of the future.
And that of course brings me to one Hasni. I really want to get your input. You know, Gen M is going to be tomorrow's digital future. Alright, so how is Salam Web actually helping Gen M to navigate this landscape?
So I can't agree more to the panelists. I think it's spot on. I mean, yes, here we have the tools, and the tools is helping you to do that filtering, but again, at the end of the day, it's your values that you need to. So that's the reason why when we talk about making it in a Sharia base, it's more of inculcating these good values. So 3 things that I feel that is important for anyone when they go online is, number 1 is to make sure that they look for safety, and then second is for them to be responsible for what they do, what they post, you know, not the fake news and things like that. And the third one, or at least, is to be more respectful on others, so that there's no shaming or that kind of belief. So I think these are the 3 things that more in terms of values that we can inculcate when we talk about these both tools and the social behavior.
And I think it's very pertinent that you raise that because, you know, as a parent, I think these are universal concerns, whether you're Muslim or not, correct? You basically want to be able to surf on the internet and feel that you are comfortable in that space with those 3 things that you mentioned just now. Yeah. Now coming to Dr. Daud, all right. One thing I'm quickly learning about Gen M as a parent is that preaching is not a very effective way to reach out to them. Whenever you tell your kids, don't do that, they will do it, right, Caprice?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what do you reckon is a more effective way to connect with Gen M at a time when they trust influencers more than their own parents?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and apology for being late a bit, my fellow panelists and the moderator and the chairman, and also my mentor, Dr. Ali Al-Ghari, and every one of you who come and give your support to this revolutionary launching of Salam Web. I think before I come to that question, I think I have the duty to put on record that Salam Web is not about technology, it is about humanity. It is about bringing back some themes which are shrouding and evaporating in our society. It's about empowerment, it's about community control, it's about working together, it's about giving them the power, the freedom, but not everything about the freedom, giving them the tool and the equipment and perhaps the value system that they should be learning in the process. Though in the beginning of the journey, sorry about that, the users might be feeling a bit constrained, but in the process they will learn the values through the Salam Web, that this is the way forward. We don't neglect the technology, we have to adopt it, we have to embrace it, but there's a higher value proposition that Salam Web would like to impress and would like to instill in the hearts of so many people. So coming back to the issue of preaching, I wanted to go far than that. Preaching is no longer relevant nowadays. The time of preaching is over. The time of giving the instruction and one-way communication is over by now. Not because preaching is not good, but because the environment has changed. The landscape has changed. So we are left with a few other options, and these options are very challenging and very hard, to be honest. Engagement. We have to go down to the street, to the high street, and whatever we have to really use their own logics and algorithm. So perhaps the word algorithm would be the main word in the next 5 to 10 years. It's about algorithm. It's not about imposing your values, or perhaps asking someone to believe in your values. It's about creating the open architecture now. It's about open architecture. We don't know what would we be arriving at the end of the day, but we have to have the architecture. So the kids, the children, the M, perhaps in particular M or X and Y, they like to be engaged. They like to be given the freedom to be engaged. And of course, if you ask people like me and the old generation, in our time, we like to disengage most of the time. Nowadays, disengagement is another word which is no longer relevant. The one who disengaged is the first to be irrelevant in this world. So we have to start the engagement culture, and perhaps the internet is the most powerful at the moment. Of course, it could be more quantum computer, the nano will come in, small thing will come. So the nanotechnology will be forthcoming, and we have to be prepared for small things that affect the whole world. So it's about looking into small matters with a superpower technology, and this is the time of to be objective, to be logical, to be scientific. Even the Shariah should be scientific. Even the Shariah should be scientifically presented and proven and shared with everyone. And this is the time of challenges, the time of no more order and preaching, the time of how engaged are you and how capable are you in articulating your ideas, your values. Otherwise, you are talking to the hard wall at the end of the day.
We don't really have a choice, and I think this is actually the dilemma for Muslims in general. We have this idea that we have to, stay away from everything and block it out. But the reality is, you can't do that anymore. If you're running a business, or you're a teacher, you can't run away from the fact that engagement really is the only way to communicate with this new generation of digital users. So let's come back to how parents and teachers can actually use the internet in their favor to maintain that relationship or connection with a generation that we are still struggling to understand. Anyone? Maybe perhaps Datuk?
Yeah, I think the other fundamental of our humanity from day one is connectivity. But somehow the Western theory of segment, fraud and press, they try to dissect the community. They try to bring the wall. I'm not referring to the Mexican wall. I mean, and this is something great, because in Islam it's not about building the wall. It's about opening the wall. It's about opening the engagement.
It's about navigation.
Navigation, yeah. And this is the theme of humanity. And we are lucky to those founders who created the smart technology and the social media, because they opened up the new world. And by opening up the new world, Islam should be promoted and promulgated better, because there's no other wall, physical wall, otherwise that we cannot penetrate. And this is something we have to, celebrate the coming of smart technology, because everyone will be on the equal footing. Good and bad, of course, but at least we are on equal footing to move forward. And the teachers and the parents can be well connected easily. In the business world, they call marketplace. We can create a marketplace. a parent who is deficit in this area can go to the teacher who is having suffered in that area, and vice versa. So this is something that can be done through smart technology without any hesitation. It's not a rocket science at the end of the day.
After all, yes,
Now,
please.
I was going to add to what Daud said with regards to Islam being a lot more progressive. At MDEC, we encourage and we welcome digital and tech startups, and we started seeing a surge of startups developing solutions that are Islamic based. You're very right, Datuk. Sometimes we ourselves are putting barriers and walls. So if I can relate an example of a company that has Quranic content on an app, they came to us and asked help because they said some authorities, without mentioning the authorities, are worried of the fact that people bring smartphones into toilets, which literally means that you're bringing the whole entire Quran in the toilet. But come to think of it, if you are a toughist, if you memorize the whole entire Quran, does that mean that you can't go to toilet?
Yes, of course.
Exactly, right? I guess the way, because of these devices and internet has been created, that has enabled people to access information pretty much anytime, anywhere.
You know how much
You would have to look at how Islam is being approached as well. Alhamdulillah, this particular company, Recite App, that's the name of the company, has progressed so well. Of course, some barriers have been lifted, Alhamdulillah, that right now, for you to be reciting Quran, it's no longer, it kicked out with how I learned Quran when I was a kid. And the best way about technology, agree with that too, it's not about the technology, but technology wouldn't help to enable and enrich the way we learn Quran. I remembered when it was still on a beta test, the founder of this company came to me and said, Nurhizam, please recite this surah. Right? It was in front of everyone. Alhamdulillah, I managed to recite it very well. Alright? And because it has embedded artificial intelligence into the app to be able to detect your tajweed, right? And the way you recite, and the device automatically would then be able to teach you if there were to be any salah tajweed ke, salah ikram ke, right? And automatically you'll be able to learn. So it may disrupt the way you learn Quran, but imagine the impact how reciting Quran can be done in a better way. Again, it goes back to that why too. What content do you want to access? Right now, Islamic content is easily accessible on various apps, right? Are you going to be accessing that information if your Nawaitu is right? Or are you going to go to Tumblr? Right? I don't access Tumblr, I'm kidding. For all sorts of, Tumblr has very good relevant information as well. Again, where do you want? Because information with regards to, in the context of Recite App, wonderful content, and you will be able to help you enrich the way you recite and read Quran right now.
Yeah, after all, it is incumbent upon Muslims to seek
Yes.
knowledge. And actually, instead of viewing the internet as an enemy, parents and teachers can actually view that as an assistant for helping our kids reach out to knowledge that previously was inaccessible. And of course, as a business owner, I'm going to come to you now, Nurul. It is also a tool for you to reach customers that you could never previously have reached before. Now, fashion trends, as we know, change overnight. And I think you yourself said you're constantly thinking about how to engage with those new customers. So what do you think is next in terms of fashion trends, and how are you preparing to keep up?
Okay, Mimpikita, we started off 10 years ago, about 11 years ago. Of course, we have our own design aesthetic, and we always, before we actually create a collection, we always, the fundamental is the aesthetic itself. And then only we learn about, we will do a research on like the trend. So I think from the past years, the modest fashion is not really out there. And then I think with the help of the social media, actually it helps to expose about the modest fashion, how we Muslim women love to love styling our clothes and love fashion, how we are very fashion forward. And me myself, I always trying to find inspiration on how I can dress myself, because I wear tudung, and then how do I match my tudung with my outfit. So I think from the past years it has evolved. Even in Malaysia back then, it's hard for you to see in a magazine there's hijab inspiration or modest fashion inspiration, but now you're looking at it almost every month. That's this modest fashion is really in talks. And I think the Western, they already know about this, and they always try to capitalize on this modest fashion. So as you can see, there's a lot of platforms that try to focus on this. There's Modist, where they curate all the modest fashion, and did a platform whereby you can find all the modest fashion pieces that you can wear with your tudung, or even if you're not religious, you can also adapt this into your life. So yeah, it's worth billions, hundred billions of dollars. So,
but like it or not, it is thanks to the internet that people have actually begun to accept modest fashion as a thing.
Yes.
Previously there was one stereotype, okay, that modest fashion was only for a particular type of person. Okay, but now, thanks to the internet, it has actually normalized modest fashion as something that is for everyone.
Yes, it's for everyone. We women want to look at as not as a sexual object. We want to look at as a person who is full of intellect, and we want to look at as a person who have a character, or we are fashion forward, we are fun, we can do anything that we want to do.
And the internet has given modest fashion and people like ourselves a voice.
Yes.
How do you think modest fashion has changed the perception, perhaps, of Muslims and Muslim women worldwide?
Okay, in Islam, whatever is written in the Quran, there's always the reason why. That's the same thing goes to how we dress. There's a code how we should dress in Islam. So Islam puts women in a very high hierarchy. Why we are asked to dress like this is because we want to be a respect. We want to be we want to be respect. We want to look at us as other people, respected beings. Yes. So I think it shows that we Muslim women are we are adventurous. We are not limited to to do. We are same like you. We can dress however we want to dress. We can wear sleeveless, and we can style it with something else and make it look modest.
And we've actually opened up that discussion to the rest of the world, yes? Now, we're just going to take a quick breather for a quick video, okay, from a Salam Web user, social entrepreneur Norhizam Karim, who has used Salam Web, and let's hear what she thinks about the app. Let's take a look.
Salam, I'm Norhizam Karim, well known as Light.km or Nasi Ayam Paris in social media. I have almost 200,000 followers on Instagram and Facebook. I would like to welcome all of you to Salam Web Launch. I was introduced by someone to this Salam Web. The first thing that caught my eyes when I opened this web browser is the solat time. Wow, dalam satu page ada solat time, ada kiblat juga ada tunjuk. Dia locates automatically your location kat mana. Daripada aku download application tu, just buka this program, semua information ada kat situ. One of the best thing. Every morning lepas nak anak pergi sekolah, when I drink my coffee, I open this web browser main page, ada keluar bawah tu, you can get loads from Quran surah. It's like food for your soul. So sedikit sebanyak kita makan hati kita dengan ayat-ayat Quran, so it helps juga sedikit, walau tak banyak, sedikit. So this is one of the best features in this Salam Web that I love it. So I would like to wish all the best to Salam Web and to everyone at Glasshouse Seputeh or wherever you are. Don't forget to download Salam Web.
So if you aren't convinced already, this is your cue to download the app, okay? Now we continue our discussion. I'd like to come back to Caprice actually because, you know, let's face it, everyone with a social media or internet presence is not there just for fun. They're there to achieve something.
Sure.
How can we influence whoever wants to go on the internet, like our kids, for example? How can we influence them positively to be not just controversial to get likes, but also to be positive and uplifting Muslim icons? I'm pretty sure it's possible, right?
How to convince the kids to be more positive on the internet?
Yeah. At least let's give people an alternative to the current influences out there, or maybe influencing them using controversy. How do we make our Muslim youth become that influencer that is leading them to a positive path?
It's going to be really tough. Only because I firmly believe that the country have to invest in the children to convince them, to get them to change their mindset, for us to sort of convince them to, I mean, you can search Islamic scholars and influences, but if you look at their viewership and their followers, it's not that high. It's just unfortunate that kids, no matter where you try to turn it or twist it, but if you look at the current context, kids love looking at controversies, things that are super funny, or something that's very, very sad. For me, if I was in control of a network or a community, I would really invest in changing the way Sekolah Tahfiz function. For example, if we're talking about Islamic communities, I would change the way the masjid operates. We cannot control the masjid, but we can control the people in the masjid. We cannot control the tahfiz, but we can control the curriculum inside the tahfiz. For example, how do we get the tahfiz kids or students to be more positive? You can't just teach them, okay, the Quran is important, but you gotta bring them into the context of the current timeline. And for me, it would have to be a huge investment in communities and mindset, powered by technology. Yeah.
But you've been fairly successful at that yourself. Maybe you wouldn't see yourself as a Muslim icon, but as a Muslim man, you definitely have a whole generation of people who are listening to you.
Mine's a bit controversial. I mean, people get confused all the time. Caprice, you do all this Islamic apps, Islamic ecosystem, but you rap, you jump, you know what I mean? And what's funny is that's why I do it. I didn't enter this industry to cater to the market of the very alim and Islamic people. I can't do it. Ustad Daud does a better job than me, right? I'm the guy going to Zouk. Like, hey guys, I know you're having fun at Zouk, but let's not forget the salat.
You're the bridge.
I'm that bridge. So that is something that you have to really look into. Meaning, if this market is already Islamic and they pay 5 times a day and whatnot, that's a whole different market. But there's this whole bigger market of normal, like maybe not very how do I say this in a proper term? They're not as hardcore into Islam as whatnot. But that is sort of the bridge we have to invest in. We have to invest in that bridge.
And I think it's about sort of giving these people an option to know that, hey, you know, you can navigate all of this.
I don't think we should give them an option. I think it's literally we have to control the environment. Look at China. China controls the whole country. That they block Facebook, they block Instagram, they built WeChat, and we all know Tencent, the valuation of Tencent. You cannot give them option. Islam is not an option. If you treat it like an option, you will always lose. So the only way Salam Web or any Islamic ecosystem can succeed is saying there's no option. It's Islam, and this is a new ecosystem for Islam. No options.
But it is the community. It is the
100%.
community that has to be that fence, so to speak. You know, all of the parents holding hands, linking around our youth, and helping to keep them safe in this environment.
Or, not really holding hands. Grab car never hold the taxi driver's hands to put a water bottle at the back of the seat.
Disruptive.
The 5-star is the reason why the taxi driver put a water bottle at the back of the seat. Technology can be disruptive in the right context, if you give it right. And the best part is, Islam is already beautiful. Islam is a way of life. The current way of life is social media. It's just how do we bring that DNA together to create this insane ecosystem.
It's basically about making the religion relevant and real and authentic to these people.
Sure.
Dr. Daud, I'd like to just move the topic a little bit towards this area because we have just a few minutes left. E-commerce, I think, is an undeniable huge part of the internet, as Nurul will be able to tell you. But it also gives, you know, now it's a democratized environment that we're in. Anybody now can be an entrepreneur if you have that mindset. Are you seeing that this shift towards e-commerce for everyone? Do you see that as a problem, or is it something that can actually be a very positive thing for the Muslim community?
Thank you very much for that relevant question. And I'm very adamant to say that e-commerce is the future. It helps not only the bankable but also the non-bankable segment of Muslim society in Indonesia, in other parts in Africa, because if we use the brick and mortar kind of transaction or the credit card and Visa card, these people will be deprived from participating in the whole system. But with the e-commerce plus digital economy plus technology, everyone is equal. Islam come to make people equal, having equal opportunity. And from that perspective, e-commerce is very human. It gives you the choices, it gives you best competitive market, and pricing. It gives you transparency, it gives you the impact measurement, it gives you everything that the traditional way of doing things would not be able to do that. And this is something we have to, make our mind clear that e-commerce is the future. What is something negative about e-commerce is about transparency. So we have to build in the artificial intelligence, the big data analytics, the supervisors, and that includes also my favorite subject matter, the cryptocurrencies. Because we can have all the digital assets all the way, sorry that, we need to have something which is digital currency to make it happen. China, for example, unlike Malaysia, we follow the British way of doing things. We start with the fiat money and we move on to the MasterCard and Visa card. So we are very much in Malaysia, everyone got the Visa and MasterCard, which is a plastic money. But in China, they skip that change of supply. From fiat money, they went away to digital currency using the code system and whatnot. And this is Indonesia is happening the same thing. No more British or American Visa card and MasterCard, because this is a cost for them. And not only can own the Visa card, very lucrative, but having the coding system, you can buy one apple in China for RM1 using the code. MasterCard, you can't do that. Is that right? So this is the whole evolution of e-commerce, and I wanted to be young again to see what will happen in the next. Caprice still young, never young. I mean, never getting old. I think, but keep that way. Be cool, be positive, but try to encourage more people to see Islam in a positive way as we evolve to the future.
And basically, e-commerce can be one of those very positive ways for Muslims to navigate that landscape and bring a lot of benefit to the community as well. Now, I've gotten word that we have some questions from our Salam Chat live app. So let's put up those questions here and let's pick one. Okay, let's see. Which one shall we pick? Okay, I like this one. He says, I like surfing for cats. Okay, me too. How do I ensure that my personal content stays private in light of all of the tech scandals? I don't want to be data mined. That's a great question. Maybe this question should be for Izam.
Personal data protection right now there are laws and regulations to protect your data. Even in Malaysia, in 2011, we have imposed the Personal Data Protection Act. Putting aside enforcement, because when sometimes you will receive calls from insurance companies and real estate agents buying houses because your data is being sold. There is law being put in place to protect data. And at the same time as well, if you were to go and purchase something on e-commerce, by the way, to me, it's no longer e-commerce. E-commerce is commerce, right? Because more and more people are actually, especially places like China, are buying things online. They're no longer doing things in retail stores in the US. Shopping malls are becoming obsolete. They're becoming irrelevant right now because people are buying things online. So getting back, before you purchase something online, right? There is an opt-in whether you would want to ensure that your data and your transactional behavior being captured by the companies. I don't see that as an issue much, right? Because if we want to help you, there will be a long holidays, Chinese New Year, and of course, you want to go somewhere and take your families to get yourself a bit of a break. And then when you start searching information on whether it's Agoda and all these e-commerce platforms, or even getting to Asia, and instantly after that, your news feed on your Facebook will show you Langkawi because, right? So it is a big data analytics platform. You can actually opt in for you not to be getting that. But if it were to help you in getting the best options on which hotels would serve your purpose or which hotels would serve the needs of your family, what is wrong with that, right?
Can be helpful.
Exactly. This has its advantage as well. If you were to come to the level of abuse where your data is being sold unnecessarily and you start getting calls, you start getting all sorts of emails that will not, and to an extent when you feel it's intruding you, there are regulatories that you will be able to go and complain, launch a proper complaint. MCMC does, Suruhanjaya Komunikasi and Multimedia does have platforms and avenues for you to be issuing a proper complaint, for them to be taking actions, right? The government does take a serious, what do you call it, legal repercussions for the need for personal data to be protected. So as a consumer ourselves, we do have to play our role in opt-out. Shouldn't you want to be receiving marketing collaterals? And if there were still to be interventions and intrusion, there are means on how you'll be able to go and complain and issue and launch a report.
At the end of the day, I think it's still about autonomy.
Yes.
About all of this, including Salam Web, it's about autonomy, the autonomy to control the environment that you want to be in. Now, just before we wrap up, I'm going to get a little bit of comments from everyone on their thoughts on Salam Web, but I'd like to just quickly throw a question to one Hasni. Is it possible to have the best of both worlds, the best of what the internet has to offer without the worst?
Okay, I think again, as we've discussed, it's we have the tool, but we also need the community and your mindset. What is it that you want to do? And here for Salam Web, we provide this feature with the filtering and all these things to help you to do things better. And how we see it, we will like to take like internet. If you see as internet for kids, it's like a playground. You want that playground to be safe, like no sharp edges and things like that, so that when you put your kids out there, it's not like they are in some kind of danger. Because if we do not monitor our kids out there and we just allow our kids to go on internet, it's just like you putting a kid on the street and alone with all the strangers around them. So this is where we feel that for Salam, we want to see internet as a safer place for people to go out. Or if you look at it from the other perspective, where one day, as it is now, internet has become part of our backdrop. It's like it's utility. So if it's utility, just like water, you don't even want to think of the source of the thread. Is it clean or is it with this? How much chlorine do I need to worry about? You just want to use it. You want to make good of what it is. You want to make coffee. You want to, you want to focus on what you want to do. Focus on things that matters most. So that is how Salam feels, and to us, we would like to see internet as more of peace of mind. And that should be the way to go.
And I think that's what we all want, really, right? So just to wrap up, Dr. Daud, could you just share very quickly, what are your hopes for Salam Web?
By combining the community function and the empowerment on one hand, so we need to have a value system being built, being nurtured, and being harnessed organically within the community. Because in the past, they were individual and superpower, the hegemony who control the world. But this time we have to give back the power to the community to develop their own culture. I would like to end my intervention by quoting Martin Luther King when he was saying that there's always the right thing to do the right thing. And perhaps the right thing at the moment is to empower community with some value embedded system inside the empowerment.
What about you, Nurul?
Okay, as a business owner, I feel like any platform is a good platform for me to actually expose my brand. So being a Salam Web, to have a Salam Web who actually filter any negativity, it's good for me to stay focused and also to connect people with the same interests and also to share knowledge, ideas. So yeah.
Wonderful. All the best to you.
Thank you.
Caprice.
Sure. I think Salam Web is a great initiative to build an Islamic ecosystem. What's the other question? What do we hope?
Yeah. What would you hope for Salam Web?
I hope Salam Web buys over my whole business, so we can, make a huge impact in the Muslim world.
Halal.
If we don't buy over, you can collaborate, right? That was my chairman actually. Is that an offer? Is an offer? No, then we'll make it happen. That's what I hope for.
Backstage. Okay, Nizam.
I wish Salam Web all the best. We see this as a real great platform to help to empower. Keep it simple, which reminds me of a quote since Daud parted with a quote as well. I want to part with a quote too. And I can't remember who it came from because I heard it from my CEO yesterday.
We can search it later.
Alright? It says that only fools tend to make things complex. But to make things simple would require a genius. So keep it simple, and empowerment is crucial. And it's really about all of us being able to define what is good for us.
Thank you so much to all our panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've really enjoyed the insights and input from our panelists here today. On behalf of Salam Web, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank our panelists for graciously making the time to be part of our chat today. I'd like to invite Puan Hasni to the front of the stage to present mementos of our appreciation for your presence here today, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, of course, we'd like to start with Dr. Daud. Bakar, thank you for joining us here today for your insights on reaching out to Gen M. Okay, this is our token of appreciation to you for being here with us today. And if you could kindly return to your seats so that we can continue our token of presentation. We'd now like to invite Izam to receive your token. Next up, Caprice. Thank you for keeping it young and fresh. We appreciate your input. And And obviously, I'm going to be tapping your brain to find out how to understand my kids better. And last but not least, Nurul, we wish you all the best in Mimpikita. May you take modest fashion beyond Malaysia and wherever as far as it can go. And Nurul would like to request that you stay next to Puan Hasni as we invite all of our panelists up to the front for a photo opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, your panelists for this morning, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts as we navigate the enigma that is the World Wide Web. At least now we have Salam Web to help us to navigate that on our own terms. Once again, we thank you panelists for your input in helping us make sense of our digital choices. You may proceed to exit the stage via the stairs behind you. Puan Hasni will remain on stage with me because next, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be announcing the prize winners for the caption call-out contest. Once again, thank you so much to our panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our panel this morning. All right, Puan Hasni, are you ready? I have the winners here. Now, all this morning you will have noticed our call to post your photo on social media with the hashtags #Salam Caption and #Team Salam. Now, the 3 winners of the most creative captions take home an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil each. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to hear who our winners are?
Yeah!
If you don't say anything, we'll just skip to the next part of the program. Are you ready? Yeah! All right, okay. Now, I feel like I'm at the Oscars. All right. I hope I'm pronouncing your nickname correctly, but here's a hint. He wrote a nice Malay pantun. We're looking for handle Kai Artsvar. Are you here? Kai Artsvar. Congratulations. Oh, berpantun ya, nampaknya dapatlah menang iPad Pro. Congratulations. Please enjoy your new toy. Congratulations. Senang je nak menang tau. Okay, our next one. Handle Sharifah Rose. Sharifah Rose. Where are you? Put your hands up. All right, congratulations. Certainly a very creative caption there. Thank you so much for taking part. We hope you really enjoy this. It's a really lovely toy to start your day with. Okay, and finally, I might have to spell this out, but I am guessing that this is Farah Dafri. F-R-A-P-A-F-R-I. Congratulations. How easy is it to take from an iPad Pro? Kena tulis caption saja. Congratulations. And of course, we hope you will enjoy surfing the web now on your new devices with the help of Salam Web. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have 5 more exciting prizes to give away. And these are for the lucky winners who took part in Salam Web's Test and Win contest that ran during the first testing stages of the Salam Web browser from December to January. Now, the contest was aimed at encouraging new users to experience the website and explore the browser's potential. So today, we acknowledge the winners who diligently took the time to browse, tag, share, and help Salam Web successfully test its devices. So, what do our winners take home today? You'll have to find out. We have our winners here today, so I'm going to announce them starting with our 5th winner. Now, our 5th winner takes home today an iPad Mini 4 for diligently testing the Salam tag function on the browser. And the winner of the iPad Mini 4 is Aiza Sulaiha. Congratulations, Aiza. Thank you for joining us here today. Enjoy your iPad Mini. I hope that you download the Salam Web app since you already know how to use it effectively. But she helped us to make Salam Tag a very useful function for all of us. All right. Our 4th winner takes home today a MacBook Air. Woo! for visiting the most number of pages on the Salam web browser. And the winner of the MacBook Air is Haziki Sufi. Congratulations, Haziki. I wonder, how many times did you visit these pages? Every day, berapa pages? We'll have to speak to him personally. How many, 30 to 50 pages. So it's a great app, yeah? Congratulations. Now, our third winner today takes home an iPhone XS for sharing the Salam web browser link with your friends. Now, our top 3 winners were chosen based on the number of clicks they received on that unique link. So the winner for the third highest clicks is Amirul Shafiq Abdul Karim. Congratulations, Amirul. Banyak kawan ya you? Influencer. Congratulations, Amirul, and thank you for being here with us today at our launch. Last 2 winners. The winners for the top 2 highest clicks take home a beautiful Hermé handbag. The second winner is Atika. Atika has a representative here on her behalf today to receive the prize. Please give her a big round of applause. Congratulations. Jealous. How easy it is to win this prize, yeah? And now, of course, for our top 2 highest number of clicks, also takes home a lovely Hermé handbag is Akma Zoal. And Akma also has a representative here today to receive her prize. Congratulations, Akma. Tolong panjangkan pada dia, ya? Thank you so much. Congratulations, Akma Zoal. I pun nak Hasni. How do I test your sight? Okay. Congratulations once again to all our winners this morning, and thank you for taking part in our contest. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our launch. Members of the media, you may make your way to the PC room for our press conference. It's upstairs over there. So just speak to any one of our Salam Web team and make your way to the PC room. And for the rest of our esteemed guests, please do enjoy a lovely lunch that we have prepared for you in the dining room on my right. On behalf of Hajjah Hasni and the Salam Web team, thank you for being a part of history in the making with us as we navigate the digital universe on our own terms together. Have a wonderful morning and Assalamu Alaikum.